The engineered collapse of the Western mind. The decline of education in the Western world wasn't an accident, it's intentional sabotage. The system has been hijacked by people who profit from confusion, division, and dependency. They understand that a society of ignorant citizens is easier to control than one of educated thinkers. The dumber the people, the stronger the ruling class becomes. Behind the curtain, profiteers exploit the decay for money and power, while enemies of America quietly fund the chaos, determined to weaken the nation from within and bring down the entire free world piece by piece.
People going to college today are coming out less capable than when they went in. Instead of learning math, science, English, or economics, they're force-fed a steady diet of grievance and guilt. They're taught to hate their own culture, despise their own history, and distrust their own families. They're trained to destroy the very civilization that gave them the privilege of education. My upcoming book, ICPP, exposes the corrupt education system. Instead of complaining about the problem, it gives real strategies to fight back. Stop letting bureaucrats shape your thinking.
The intent behind the decline. This didn't happen overnight. It's the product of decades of quiet infiltration. Activists took over education boards, teacher unions, and university departments. Instead of scholars, we now have ideologues. The purpose of modern education is no longer to teach people how to think, it's to tell them what to think.
The architects of this decline knew exactly what they were doing. Teachers and professors were the perfect tools, easy to influence, full of self-importance, and convinced they were smarter than everyone else. Most have never produced anything of value outside the classroom, yet they see themselves as intellectual authorities. Think back to your own high school days. Who became the teachers? It was rarely the top performers or the driven achievers. It was usually the mediocre or lazy students, the ones who struggled to keep up. If they had been ambitious and capable, they'd have gone into the private sector where effort and results are rewarded with real pay, not empty prestige.
Many of these lazy students carried deep resentment from their high school years, convinced they'd been mistreated, overlooked, or bullied. Instead of growing stronger from those experiences, they nursed bitterness that festered into hate. That emotional baggage made them easy targets for manipulation, the perfect recruits for the modern, woke, agenda. In their need to feel morally superior, they'd become willing participants in madness. They're so desperate to prove their virtue that they'll endorse the mutilation of children, just to show the world how compassionate and progressive they pretend to be.
The inversion of values. In healthy societies, education uplifts people. It refines character, rewards discipline, and builds competence. Today's education system does the opposite. It punishes achievement and glorifies weakness. It labels excellence as privilege and mediocrity as empowerment. The straight-A student is scorned for trying too hard, while the lazy student is praised for speaking their truth. This inversion of values serves the architects of decline. Strong, independent thinkers are dangerous to them. People who can reason, build, and create threaten the monopoly of control. So, schools are turned into indoctrination centers. Students leave college with no real skills, only resentment and entitlement.
The corporate government alliance. You wouldn't destroy education without a payoff, but there's plenty of money in ignorance. Corporations benefit because dumb consumers are easy to sell to. The government benefits because dumb citizens are easy to manage. Together, they've built a system where universities operate as factories, churning out ideological clones who feed the bureaucratic machine. Graduates who can't think critically end up in government jobs, doing meaningless tasks like license renewals or compliance paperwork. These jobs could be done by third graders, yet they're held by people with expensive degrees and no direction. They're obedient, uninspired, and dependent, exactly what the system wants.
The psychological war. This isn't just about failed academics. It's about mental conditioning. When you teach people to see the world through a lens of endless oppression, you destroy their will to achieve. They stop asking, "How can I improve?" and start shouting, "Who can I blame?" That shift is deliberate. A divided, bitter population won't unite to challenge corruption. Race, gender, sexuality, income, Every category becomes a battlefield. The ruling elite fan these flames while posing as saviors. While citizens fight over pronouns and privilege, the powerful consolidate control behind closed doors.
The cultural sabotage. Every great civilization falls when its culture rots. Ours is no different. The destruction of education goes hand in hand with the destruction of culture. Art used to elevate the spirit, now it glorifies depravity. Literature used to challenge the mind, now it apologizes for truth. Even language itself is under attack. New speech codes forbid words that might offend, stripping people of the ability to communicate clearly or think independently. When you control language, you control thought.
The debt trap. Meanwhile, students are financially enslaved. They borrow tens of thousands of dollars for degrees that are worthless in the real world. They're told they're investing in their future, but what they're really buying is ideological conditioning wrapped in debt. Once they graduate, they're chained to that debt for decades, unable to start families or build businesses. They become permanent economic dependents, grateful for government assistance and too fearful to rebel. This is not coincidence. It's a brilliant design. Keep the population poor, angry, and distracted, and you never have to worry about revolt.
The death of the West. Western civilization was built on the pillars of logic, faith, and discipline. It valued truth over comfort, excellence over mediocrity, and freedom over conformity. Today, those pillars are being deliberately demolished. The West is rotting from within, not because its ideas failed, but because they were systematically dismantled by people who despise them. The result is what we see now: collapsing standards, crumbling cities, and citizens who can't tell truth from propaganda. We're watching the lights of the West flicker, not from war or famine, but from stupidity.
The path back. There is still hope, but it requires brutal honesty. The first step is admitting it's broken on purpose. We must stop pretending this is just incompetence. Education must be reclaimed from the ideologues and restored to its original purpose, to create capable, moral, intelligent citizens. That means cutting out useless degrees, firing activist administrators, and re-establishing the basics: literacy, math, science, and civic duty. It means celebrating achievement again and rejecting the culture of excuse. It means producing citizens, not victims.